I am cutting down from 16% body fat all the way down to just 8% and documenting the entire journey along the way. So far, I'm 5 pounds down in just 6 days. Welcome to episode 2 of the road to 8% body fat. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, here is my transformation from last year, and now we are repeating it. Here is just a quick introduction to the video so you know what you can expect rather than wasting your time. So what we are going to do every single one of these episodes throughout the journey of 8% body fat, I'm going to sit down and do a lesson all on fitness. Now, one thing I do know is I get fat people fit. It's what I'm good at, it's what I know, and I get results. Now, I do have full programs of everything you could ever need to know, and they are cheap in a link in the description. But what I'm going to do, like I said, is sit down and just give you a free lesson on one particular subject. The subject of this video is going to be what to do when you fuck up on your diet or go massively over your calories. Reason being, although I've done really well this week, 5 pounds in 6 days, I messed up. What else can you expect in the episode, you ask? So what I'm going to do is show you a weekly overview. Like I said, I lost 5 pounds in 6 days, which is pretty good going. I'm going to show you my activity levels, my dietary habits, my training, go through all that kind of stuff very briefly and show you just how I did it. I'm then going to also give you a whole day in the life to give you the reality view of what I'm doing and also show you just how easy it is. So before we continue, please like the video. It really does go a long way and really helps me out. Secondly, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you catch these episodes and learn for free. Who doesn't like free stuff? So weekly overview time, let's see where we're at. So my maintenance calories to maintain my starting body weight at around 176 pounds were 2,600 calories. So my goal has been to eat 2,000 calories, as you can see here. I was pretty much on target. I was doing well. I was staying in deficit. I was staying in the calorie allowance until Saturday happened. So my weigh-in was all week, obviously, until Saturday. So now on to activity level. So as you can see, I was there or around 10,000 steps every day. There was a couple of times I dipped a little below, but there was also a couple of days where I hit like 15,000. In an ideal world, to speed this process up and get in shape as quickly as possible and cut down the body fat, I'd hit 15,000 every day. Sort of unrealistic. I mean, it's not really, I'm making excuses. I do work full time. So people will say, oh, I don't have time or I can't walk that much. You can. You can wake up earlier in the morning and get the steps in. You can walk to the shops rather than driving. If you commute, you can walk to the train station rather than driving. You can go for a lunchtime walk. You can go for an evening walk. There is no excuse. You have time for what you make time for. So anyway, I always try and hit a minimum of 10,000 steps. So I have been fairly active. I don't want to go too much into the walking and the activity because that's a lesson for another video on cardio. Now, training. So I have trained 3 times this week. I train 3 times every week. I never train more than that. I never carry out any other cardio training. All I do is Monday, I will always train chest and bicep focused day. I will then train every Wednesday. It will be more back and legs focused. And I will then train on Friday, which will be more shoulders and tricep focused. Now, sometimes I do add some abs into this. So the first week, here's the starting of the week, here's the end of the week. I did not train my abs once. My body fat just started to slightly decrease. My activity level was higher. I was in a calorie deficit and I lost a few pounds. That weight was not all fat. There's around 3,500 calories to 1 pound of fat. So I wasn't in that much of a deficit. A lot of that was water weight, bloating, etc. But, you know, I looked a whole lot better. Now I'm going to start incorporating a separate ab session. You could just add a little bit of abs onto each end of each workout, but I don't like to do that. I'd rather just hit them once hard for like half an hour a week. Again, I'm going to have a separate lesson video on my training, on my split, on my training techniques, etc. So I don't want to go too far into detail on that. Let's move on to day in a life so you can see a realistic view of what my day looks like working full-time still and making this happen. So start the day with getting the steps in as I always do. Nice little black coffee because we stay fasted in the mornings. Then working from home, so this is pretty much me for the day. Nice little delivery as gym shoes. And then today we had our very first ab session. So we started off with hanging raises, then switched it up slightly to an incline bench, and just some rope crunches to finish off. 99p protein pudding from Lidl to follow this. These are unreal, and then a nice little dinner. 5 minutes each side and 15 minutes the oven for the chicken. It's so succulent. Here's a meal together and a nice little present for the missus when she got home. This is unreal. Okay, so lesson time. So as I said earlier in the video, we are going to go through what to do when you mess up on your calories. There are 3 options here that I'm going to go through, but before I proceed, what I want to say is if you currently do not know how many calories or what macros, proteins, fats, carbs, you should be consuming to support your current goals, whether you're looking to gain a lot of size and a lot of muscle, or whether you're looking to shred down just like I am and decrease your body fat to look a whole lot more aesthetic, then make sure you subscribe to the channel now and also turn on post notifications. Reason being, the next video I do, I'm going to break down exact calories, exact macros, how to tailor this just to yourself, and then you can start following this guideline, what to do when you mess up. Because if you've been lifting long enough, it's inevitable you're going to have a hiccup at some point. Again, if you want all this in one place, I do also have full programs in the bio that will give you everything you could ever need to know. Anyway, let's crack on with the lesson. So, messing up on your calories. Here we are speaking if you are in a calorie deficit, looking to lose fat, just like I am on the road to 8% body fat. When you go over, here's what you should do. Option number 1, and the most sustainable method, and the one I would most highly recommend out of all 3, and that is getting back on track but sporadically. What I mean by this is, for example, so my maintenance calories now are 2,600. I am trying to eat 2,000 calories to create a 600 calorie deficit per day. Now, if I go and eat 2,700 calories today, then what I would do, rather than just crash dieting tomorrow and starving myself and eating 700 calories less, I would just spread these 700 calories I went over the next 7 days. So over the course of the week, I get back on track to where I needed to be in the first place. So taking off these 700 calories from 7 days is obviously 100 calories a day. So taking an additional 100 calories off of my calorie deficit goal means I would now have 1900 calories per day rather than 2000. So doing that, it means I still keep up my 600 calorie deficit with additional 100 calories on top. That means I make up for that day of overeating, if that makes sense. This way, I'm not going through big calorie swings. So I'm having, 2,700 down to 1,300, then getting back to 2,000. Just means my cravings are going to be all over the place. My energy levels are going to be a little bit up and down, and my blood sugar is going to be a little bit all over the place too. Option 2 is doing exactly what I just advised against, and that is going to be just taking it off the next day. Now, I would not recommend this if it's a high calorie consumption that you've gone over by, but if you're over by like 400-500 calories, I would just take this off the next day and get it done within 24 hours. So you haven't got to think about it over the next week. I would rather eat as much as I possibly can during this journey rather than having to take off calories for a long period of time. But again, if I'm 1,000 calories over, I'm not going to do that all in one day because it's just really unenjoyable. And option 3 is just forget about it and move on. Don't feel guilty, don't hold it on your shoulders. Just learn from your mistake. So whatever took you over your calories, learn from it. What I mean by this, if you're out drinking with your mates, if you're drinking wine or beers or whatever, it's very easy to get carried away and consume like 1,500, 2,000 calories in drink alone, plus the food you're consuming. So if you are going over on your alcohol, just learn from it. Next time, give the beers a miss if you can't control yourself. Go to the spirits, diet mixer, lower calorie drinks. So even if you do get carried away, you're not thousands over, maybe a couple of hundred. Or if you're, at an event, you're eating pizza, for example, and it's just very Moorish and you're smashing a whole Domino's and it's like 2,500 calories, then, just steer clear from it next time. Eat before you go somewhere, for example. Just learn from your mistake. But anyway, if you're breaking this like every week or two, I wouldn't suggest us forgetting about it. But if it's once in a blue moon and, you've been really, really good, really strict, and you've gone 1,000, 2,000 calories over in one day. It's not ideal. Your level of fat loss that week is going to be a lot less, but just move on. Get back on track tomorrow. 2,000 calorie goal again, or whatever your calories would be, tailored to you. Just move on, get back on track, and focus forward, not backwards. Okay, so we are going to wrap the video up there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Again, for like the 5th time, subscribe to the channel, like the video if it was helpful in any way, shape, or form. The next video lesson is going to be calories, how to work out your calories, and what your macro split should look like. If you want a more detailed macro split and interest in your macros, I also have a video on screen which is working out the exact protein you should be consuming based on about 15 studies. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. New video in a couple days time, and a few new series started on the channel. See you later.